Jesus Christ, listen to yourself, you're obsessed!
You've never seen what that thing can do, so don't talk to me about it! You've never seen it! You've never seen it miss this house, and miss that house, and come after you!
Alright, dude, you got no idea what you're dealing with. You got it easy. Alright, I got a tsunami right outside my window with a machete ready to kill me, alright? When that's not happening, I got an earthquake who's constantly stalking me in my dreams. Welcome to my world, Joe. Hi, everybody. This is that swirly movie about twisty wind and blah, 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 blah. Jean de Bon is a French director of sorts who does a lot more cinematography than he does directing. Basically, he's directed, 5 movies? He's working on a 6th that's in pre-production right now. But as far as cinematography goes, he's done 57 movies. Yeah. So, clearly directing isn't exactly his major field. And I guess, the approach he is taking with Twister was, tornadoes are boring. You know, let's, throw in a little growl here and there, a little, Reason for this is because, I don't know, he thought the tornadoes were boring or something, so he needed them to have character development? Something? Point being is, he took a pretty interesting approach when directing this one. And boy, is it a doozy. So let's take a look at this swirling menace and see... Well, let's just see. Did Jean de Bon make a pretty interesting film, or did he just have 5 all over the project? That's what we're gonna find out. It's gonna be fun. Okie dokie. So, we gotta start off pretty subtle. I mean, de Bon really wants us to remember that this is in fact a movie about tornadoes. He really wants to get that point across. Alright, because when I think of a movie called Twister, I immediately think that this is going to be a live-action version of the game Twister. Because, I mean, we recently got Battleship, and we got Clue back in the 70s or 80s, or whenever that movie came out. But nope, de Bon really wants us to implant in our heads that this is indeed a natural disaster movie. Because, I mean, I never would have found that out from the title of the movie, the box art of the movie, if you want to call it box art, and the title sequence. Because, I mean, all this is just really wanting me to spin a dial and say, right foot red? Up, you lose, you fell, game over.
Joe, come on.
We need to get down to the storm cellar right now. Come on, hey Joe, let's go, let's go.
TV says it's big, might be an F5.
And speaking of game overs, we got a little, well, this is a natural disaster movie, so obviously we gotta have a tragedy happen in the opening sequence. The guy takes his wife and daughter down to the storm basement, and, he tries to lock them in, but unfortunately, this lock doesn't look like it'll do much. I mean, people, I'm a Floridian, okay? I live in the Sunshine State where it's mostly storming. So, I don't have a storm basement, a tornado door, a room that protects you from those storms. But, even I kind of think, I could be wrong, but I think storm cellars don't necessarily have those kind of locks. Because, call me crazy, but I could have sworn I saw that in the restroom the other day. And the father learns that when you try to fight an F5 tornado, wow, that's a tongue twister. Well, you lose. Yeah, you think that's bad? Guess who he has to meet on the way up there?
Honey, are you sure she's gonna be there?
If I know Joe, she's already dragged her entire department into the field.
Alright, so then we're introduced to our main character. I think it might be Joe, but I think this is the main character, named Bill. He's played by Bill Paxton. Bill has no last name, and neither does his fiancée, Melissa. I hate Melissa. She's boring. She doesn't really add anything to the character list. She's just kind of there. Why? Well, because Bill needs Joe to sign a divorce paper, because, let me tell you, when I think tornado movie, I immediately think divorce papers. Something else you'll probably notice about this movie as it continues is Joe and Bill like to argue a lot.
She's a therapist.
Yours?
Christ, you couldn't resist,
I'm not
could you?
saying you
Come
need
on.
therapy.
What?
I'm
what?
not.
Wait. I need
I
therapy?
didn't say that.
I need a therapist?
I didn't
What
say
could I
that.
possibly need a therapist for?
I don't know.
You're the doctor, tell me.
I don't know. Inability to finish things, maybe rushing into things you can't quite commit to.
Commitment?
You asked me.
Look.
You asked
no,
me.
that is...
I mean, Joe's all like, oh yeah, that's right, the weatherman. And Bill's all like, what? And then she's like, what? I think it's great. Yeah, that tone. If it no tone, if you had a problem being a weatherman, I don't have a problem being a weatherman. It's just constant bickering between the two. And is that really what you want your main character in a disaster film to do to the other main character? So if you're wondering what the actual plot of the movie is, it's not about the divorce papers, although that still comes back in a later scene. And it's not even determining whether or not Joe and Bill will get along. It's the fact that the storm chasers have built little sensors that go flying into a tornado so they can be like, yo, let's see. Oh, and give the other people down there about approximately 15 minutes to duck and cover. Thanks, you're a doll. And what do they call this machine? Dorothy. Because DeBont really liked The Wizard of Oz. In fact, fun fact, the dog in the very beginning he originally wanted to name Toto. But he couldn't because obviously Toto is from Wizard of Oz, and I guess the name Toto is copyrighted. So anybody out there who wants a dog and coincidentally wants to name it Toto,
you might get arrested.
So Jitter's Mick, not quite Velma, gets a radio calling on their phone saying, yo, there's a tornado about to happen. You may want to scurry on down there.
Alright, let's go.
Alright, we're moving! It's fatty time!
Joey, last one.
Matter, you're up! Come on, let's go our way, let's go! Joey, James, a little help? Yes, sir, right behind you.
But not before running into a little bit of, well, trouble. That is Jonas, no last name again. He's played by Carrie Elways, and this is where I think even more casting failures happen. Carrie Elways is one of the best British actors that ever lived. I mean, he starred in such famous classics such The Princess Bride. And you know what? He was really funny in that in most of the movie. He was also in Robin Hood in Tights, or Men in Tights. Robin Hood, Men in Tights. So he's a really funny actor, but they don't really make him do anything here. All they make him do is create a clone of Dorothy called Dot 3, slightly change a few things here and there that Dorothy doesn't do. And they just made him out to be the bad guy. Because, you know, again, when you think of storm chasing and trying to get sensors in a tornado, you immediately think competition.
And Devon, I get it. You are in Tornado Alley. There's going to be a lot of southern people there. But did you really have to make Carrie Elways, a British actor, do an American/Southern accent?
I get it. You want to take credit for my design, is
You're
that
a liar.
it? So stick around.
Because the days of sniffing the dirt are over.
You can't have any British people in Tornado Alley. You can't have anybody with a British accent, you know. This movie takes place in like Oklahoma or something. Can't have British people there.
What the heck is wrong with this world?
Get ready to set up.
You got it.
Okay, so they come across the very first tornado of the movie. An F1 tornado. And this is where we come across one of Joe's character traits.
You gotta get further ahead.
Suicidal, and then thinks twice when she's actually in that suicidal situation.
Go in there. Go in there. Wait. You're gonna miss it.
Hold on. Just hold on a second.
Have you lost your nerve?
Are we having fun yet?
Okay, we gotta get out of this.
So, yeah, not only did they not activate the Dorothy machine, not only did they lose a truck in the process, and not only did they give Melissa a heart attack, causing Dusty, one of my favorite characters in the movie, to practically make out with Melissa in the process, but now they gotta take Bill's truck. And let me digress a little and talk a little bit more about the supporting cast. I just mentioned Dusty, played by Philip Seymour Hoffman, and I like to take a serious moment here and say, Philip Seymour Hoffman, may you rest in peace. I never saw a whole lot of your movies, but I really want to. I know you starred in Red Dragon, but I never seen it. I will see as many movies as I can that you're in. So, once again, may you rest in peace. You are a great actor. A lot of people found your character as Dusty to be really annoying, but I found him to be one of the funniest characters in the movie, if not the funniest. And I don't make that statement lightly. But Dusty is just a light-hearted, joking kind of guy.
The suck zone. Fashionably late. Hey, give me a kiss, baby. Get out of here. Get out of here!
Loser! Why'd you go find your own twister, buddy? Loser! Guys have a nice day, too. Move on!
Then you got Cameron from Ferris Bueller's Day Off over here. He's another one of my favorite characters in the film. He plays Rabbit. He's not as funny as, say, Dusty, but he gets a few funny lines here and there.
In a severe lightning storm, you want to grab your ankles and stick your butt in the air.
Yeah. Trust me, Rabbit is good, Rabbit is wise.
And even though he doesn't do a whole lot, I do enjoy the character of Belzer a lot, too. I mean, I don't quite know what he does, but he just seems to be on the ball with things. Always letting Bill and Joe know what the tornado is like, and heck, he even has to point out where the first tornado in the movie is.
Oh, nothing. I was just wondering if we're gonna chase this tornado or if you just want to catch the next one. Shit!
Why? Because Bill and Joe are arguing. What a shocker. But unfortunately, those three characters are the only supporting cast that really stand out. Rabbit's driver, Sanders, he doesn't say a whole lot or do a whole lot. He just kind of drives Rabbit around while Rabbit reads off the map and guides Joe and Bill where to go. Belzer's partner, girlfriend, soon-to-be wife, whoever, named Haynes, she is excited a lot.
Bet we see some F4s today.
That'd be sweet.
Then you got this guy who I think his name is Fraser. I think. And he literally does not do anything in this. All he does is just kind of stick in the middle. He doesn't have any scientific equipment in his car. He just kind of tags along like Dusty, only not funny. In fact, this guy probably gets like 3 lines in the entire movie.
The prodigal son returned. Bill's the most out-of-control son of a bitch in the game.
No, that was a good-sized twister. What was that, an F3?
Now behind, I think Fraser is Lawrence and Joey. Again, they do a little more than what Fraser, I think, does, but they're not that memorable. They have the scientific equipment, they know what they're talking about, but they're not that memorable. Really, as far as supporting cast goes, Belzer, Rabbit, and especially Dusty are the only memorable ones. Alright, so digression over. So now they gotta head on to the second tornado, which I'm gonna assume is an F2. They say It's a F2, possibly strong enough to be an F3, but I'm just going to call it an F2 because there's only 5 tornadoes in the movie, and I like to think that with each progressing tornado, it goes up an extra F. However, physics would usually say if 2 tornadoes are circling a truck, it'd probably get lifted up a bit. I don't know, I'm not a tornado expert. I don't live in a state where tornadoes are exactly common. So, any science majors out there, meteorologists, tornado experts, if 2 tornadoes like this, water spouts I guess you would call them, circle a truck, would the truck just spin or would it be slightly lifted? I'm just curious, because this doesn't seem right to me. So, after 2 failures and doing absolutely nothing, what do our main characters feel like it's time for?
Hey, we're absolutely not going.
We didn't do anything. We failed twice. Let's go eat something at Aunt Meg's. And that's exactly what they do. And it's here where we gotta get our learning time in. So we gotta obviously learn about tornadoes and how the Fujita scale works and all that jazz. All that good stuff.
It's the Fujita scale. It measures the intensity of a tornado by how much it eats.
Eats?
Destroys.
Little encounter we had back there is a strong F2, F3 maybe.
Bet we see some F4s today.
That'd be sweet. Is there an F5?
Melissa, I know you're the one who has to start the exposition, but seriously, you live in Oklahoma. How do you not know if there's such thing as an F5? This is stuff you learn in high school, or even middle school. Basic meteorology. Again, I get it. She's only there to ask questions to start exposition. That is really her only goal in the whole movie, is to do that. But Jonas is on the move, there's an F3 that's about to hit the ground, and our heroes trail out once more. And this is, by far, my favorite sequence in the movie. It doesn't involve any tornadoes, it's just them driving to the F3. Which, okay, just hearing about it probably makes it seem like it's a really boring scene. But it's not. And why? Because it's accompanied by, like, the coolest song I ever heard in a movie. I especially love when the music gets louder and more passionate when the cars start turning off-road.
Okay, Randall, what do you got?
Yeah, okay, Bill, turn left here toward that farm.
You sure about that?
Yeah. Be any moment.
So after almost crashing into the non-British brigade, they then end up on the highway.
Okay, we got hail.
Hail. We got hail.
So they finally do come across the F3, but this must be the wimpiest F3 I've ever seen, or just the wimpiest tornado I've ever seen. It doesn't really ever stay on the ground for more than 5 seconds. Which, okay, in many ways it could be considered scarier because, well, it's it's a friggin' jumper. You never know when it's gonna touch ground again. But this just kind of seems, weak. So after 3 fails and the second Dorothy destroyed, we then go to probably, well, the dumbest line in the movie.
You've never seen him miss this house and miss that house and come after you.
The leader of these storm chasers, and a scientist nonetheless, just came to the logical conclusion that a tornado is officially stalking her. I mean, Joe, the F1 had to destroy a barn just to try to get to you. So, it's not the fact that it's missing one house than the other house, but just coming after you. No, it'll destroy a barn in the process. And this is where we find out that, you know what? Bill doesn't hate Joe after all.
You gotta move on. Stop living in the past and look at what you got right in front of you.
What are you saying?
Me, Joe.
And despite them not pushing the button to activate the radio, whatever, Melissa can still hear what they're saying. Oh yeah, as a quick side note, just a fun fact about this scene is that all this hail, this is not CG. They actually got a bunch of huge trucks with ice machines that break down giant chunks of ice and spit ice cubes. While I don't know the exact number, they had to go through so many blocks of ice just to get this scene to happen. Also, aside from maybe the boat and I think the tricycle, Bill getting hit with everything here, the hail and even that tree branch, you know, that's not CG either. They literally threw all this stuff at him. I gotta say, for the dumb things that can happen in this movie, I gotta give these guys credit. They went for a few realistic looks in this at least. So after an entire day of fails, the day's not quite over. It's time to relax, so why don't we go to a drive-in? I don't know if it'll get me flagged for showing another movie inside of another movie, but they're watching The Shining. The Jack Nicholson one. But because other than the opening sequence and we never saw a tornado at night, we gotta get a tornado at night. Which I'm gonna assume is an F4. This is officially the worst sequence in the movie in my opinion because it destroys my favorite vehicle in the movie. You know, I don't care what you guys think. I don't care if there was, you know, a fancy looking Ford that Bill was driving or anything. I friggin' like that map truck that Rabbit and Sanders were driving in. But no, Devon just had to destroy the cars. But even after trashing the drive-in theater, the F4 is not done because, you know what, we gotta endanger another family member, as it goes for Aunt Meg.
Is she okay?
We'll probably keep her overnight just to be safe.
Overnight, forget it, I'm alright.
So despite being an old woman and clearly bleeding out of 2 different spots, she still doesn't even want any medical attention.
You're going to the hospital.
Okay, I'll go, but I'm gonna drive myself.
Honey, your car's in a tree around the corner.
Shut up, Meg.
It's okay.
I'm sorry, I was listening to the radio, and I mean, I don't even know if you want to know, but it's happening. NSSL's predicting an F5.
Joe, gonna happen to somebody else. You go, stop it.
Alright, of all the lines in this movie, that is the one I do not understand. What does she mean by, you go, stop it? Because, I mean, what do you plan on doing? Will this be like a Sharknado effect, and are you just going to throw a bomb in the tornado and destroy tornadoes once and for all? Because, call me crazy, but I don't think that happens.
We need cutters and duct tape. Ace belts, I want to get the last Dorothy on the back of my truck, and I want to get them both on there right now. We're gone.
So now, it's F5 time. This is the tornado that took Joe's dad. And she's gonna do what Aunt Meg just said and stop it, I guess. Also, I'd like to point out another really cool effect that this movie had. You see, when Bill's truck is stuck on this tree branch, a gasoline tanker starts flying in their direction. Now obviously nothing happens and it helps them off the branch. But then when they start driving away from the tornado, the tanker falls and explodes into a ball of fire. And here's a fun fact, that's also not CG. They actually dropped a tanker from that height and it combusted like that. They're driving through real fire, folks. However, I think a little bit of CG had to go into this effect.
Joe, you still with us? Oh my God! I think we're going in.
So Joe and Bill finally get these sensors up in the tornado. They go whee! And then everybody's excited. Just to have everybody scared again. Because, well, now the F5 is literally chasing them. Wow, Joe, you were actually right. The F5 tornado is coming after you. You know, what is up with the tornadoes in these movies in their hatred towards barns? I mean, you got F1 over here just trashing the thing, just trying to get to them in this ditch, and now you got the F5 just ripping apart this barn. I mean, I know it's Tornado Alley, and it's home to a lot of southern people and, you know, farms, ranches, and cornfields, oh my, but seriously, what up with the hatred, you tornadoes? And then we come to what everybody, a lot of people, consider to be the dumbest sequence in the movie. Or at least the dumbest way to survive a disaster.
These pipes go down at least 30 feet. We anchor to it, we might have a chance.
A lot of people have made fun of this method, so I won't dwell on it too much. But that just can't happen. I mean, if an F1 tornado can just suck your truck up and then throw it in front of Melissa, then you know, that's one thing. But when an F5 tornado that looks like it's actually having trouble sucking up this small wooden shack outhouse without a toilet, you know, it would definitely just rip apart the leather belts. But of course, the main characters have to survive. They do. and the movie's over. And that was Jean de Bond's epic swirling menace film known as Twister. So how does it hold up? Well, I gotta admit, by my standpoint, it's actually sort of a guilty pleasure. I actually find myself watching this movie a lot. I would definitely recommend this movie to people who don't want to take movies too seriously, but they just kind of want to have fun while they watch it. People who I don't recommend the movie to are those who are trying to get into a science/meteorology major. This movie ain't gonna work for you. I personally give Twister a 7 out of 10.